And I didn't get it at the time, but my supervisor's like, why don't you do personal training? I was like 18, 19. I was like, not yet. I don't think I'm ready for it, but maybe something I'd do in the future. But I just didn't have that confidence in me to like take that step.
You know, we have to be really grateful for our parents, especially like when you just said that. It's like they worked so hard. Like, and it's not like they didn't want to take you on holiday.
No, exactly.
They probably would have loved to take you guys on holiday, but then they're thinking, if we do, we'll be so much weeks behind paying our next bills. For the last couple of years, having this business grow to what it is now, you've got clients now of different demographics, different ages. You know, you've got, I think, over 10,000 followers on Instagram. How is it like, you know, from the outside to us to the public? It seems like you're doing fantastic. You're doing so well. This is episode 11. Today we've got Omar Adam. He's on social media, known more as Akhi Omar. He's got his own studio, Stay Active. He's from Leicester, same as me. So hopefully we've got a lot of things in common. But yeah, what we want to know about is your personal story. We want to know more about, you know, how it's like running your business, and, you know, more about, you know, different clients that you've worked with. So hopefully for all the viewers, they're going to have a lot to learn about, and it's going to be a good one to watch. But again, first things, Jazakallah khair for coming onto the podcast, and I really appreciate you coming on.
No problem, bro. It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Oh, amazing. And how did you find it? How was the drive, the studio? How?
Beautiful. Setup's beautiful. I wasn't expecting it to look like this at all, to be honest. And alhamdulillah, there's so much here, man. It's a blessing to have something like this not far from Leicester, to be fair, innit?
Yeah, no, of
It's
course.
local.
So you're 30, is that correct?
30 years old.
Yeah,
yes.
I think some people don't like to admit that. So
No, once it gets past 30, it's like,
yeah.
what am I? But I got complimented not long ago saying I look under 25, bro. So that's a good sign.
Is it? So I'm doing something wrong. I get the total opposite. I get over 30.
I think it's the training,
you think
the
so?
beard grooming. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Let's bring it all the way back. I wanna, you know, we definitely wanna get to know you as a person.
Yeah.
And I think on social media, especially, we'll see all of your content, right?
Yeah.
Which is related to, you know, a lot of the brand, which is Stay Active, regarding a lot of the services that you do, a lot of the coaching services, maybe client testimonials, or it could be like, you know, stay away from Netflix and don't binge watch, or like binge eat, or things like that, right? But, you know, I think sometimes it's hard to see who the real person is behind the camera.
Yeah.
And we definitely want to get more of that about you. So, yeah, tell us, take it all the way back when you were the first time, when you were studying, and like, you know, what jobs you wanted to do, or did you know what you wanted to do? Yeah, let's go back to college time.
Let's go back to college. Let's go back to school, to be fair. And finishing school, like 16 years old, not kind of knowing what you wanted to do, but that's when my fitness journey kind of started for myself, because I was like, I need an escape kind of thing from home and being at home all the time and stuff like that. You want to do something. You're 16, you're a boy, you want to train, you've got this testosterone in you, and so you want to find somewhere to kind of escape and, you know, use your energy. So it's boxing or gym that kind of started it for me. And alhamdulillah, gym was like a really big escape for me, because it stopped me from doing silly things at that age. And it was like seeing people that are bigger than you and stuff like that, and aspiring to be like that. And just having muscle or something, for me, it was like, I want to be big and strong and muscular. Not that I'm like huge right now, but I'm just saying generally, it was just something that I looked up to always. And so that 16 years old, just finishing school with like the standard GCSE grades. So I didn't get anything past C, to be fair, bro. I was just like the passes, you know.
And did you come from a family of gym people, or were you the first one in the family?
So saying that, bro, it's funny, because my dad had a belt, so he used to go to the gym, so he had a lifting belt, and I was using that today in my my Instagram. Yeah, I even put it saying I'm still using my dad's lifting belt, so it's quite cool, alhamdulillah. He had a Joe Weider lifting belt, that's like a proper classic belt, and I still use it to this day, bro. So yeah, it started off, my dad probably did used to train. I don't know how often, because I've never really asked him properly. My uncles used to train, and it was always like, your uncles would always come. I'm that uncle now, but show them your bicep. Like, oh my god, let me hold your bicep, because you're like, what? How come the muscle's different? And that's the crazy thing when it comes to muscles, and people are like, oh wow, man, muscles are so, it's unique kind of thing. And that's why I think when I was 16, I was like looking up to these things from the age of 12 to 16, like really wanting to be muscular and go to the gym and stuff, and that's what really pushed me after 16. So then alhamdulillah, going into college, the fitness journey kind of started, because I decided to choose, which I'd never did at school, but I decided to go into sports. So my choices were sports and fitness, and I was like, I don't know what else I'm going to be good at, because getting C's, you're feeling quite average in school, and I didn't enjoy school in the sense that I enjoyed school for friends and stuff, but I didn't enjoy lessons and being taught stuff and listening to teachers, and my attention span was really bad. I remember every report would be saying the same thing at the end of the year. Nothing to do with confidence, sorry. It was more the fact that his attention was like not there.
You just want mentally
Yeah,
stimulated.
all the time. Like
Yeah.
after a little while, I'll just get distracted so easily. Always getting distracted easily, and that's something that I kind of probably still have some element of now. But obviously, as you've grown older, you're better with it. And so yeah, I used to find that hard. So then I was like, what do you think I'll enjoy? What do I think I'll enjoy? And I realized sport might be a good one. And to pair it off, I did a level 2 a course in college for fitness instructing, because I just thought, oh, that sounds quite interesting. And alhamdulillah, I was really passionate about it at the time, and I was really good at it. Alhamdulillah, I am passionate about it, but at the time I was really good at it. And in my class, actually, of 12 students, I was the first one to pass. But at the same time, when we all did our mock exam in the gym, they all used me.
Yeah.
Because then all the guys, all the guys between us, we all had to choose someone to do the mock exam with, and everyone chose me. Because they're like, this guy knows his kind of stuff,
course, yeah.
He's concentrated and all of that.
Was that a strange feeling for you?
Yeah,
This
it
was
was,
the first
bro.
time where it's like the opposite.
I've
of-
just thought about it right now, and to be honest, it is, because alhamdulillah, it was a really good thing, because I was like, okay, I know I'm doing something right. And because I took it seriously, even though it was a level 2 and you're in college and everything is level 3 and above now, yeah? Because your BTECs and stuff like that. So this wasn't really a big qualification, and it wasn't difficult to get.
Yeah.
But alhamdulillah, we managed to do
That
that.
was the first time you applied
Yeah.
yourself. What advice would you give to other people then that are again in that position where they might be in college, they might be in university, but they're not applying themselves, and they might be wandering off, and it's just because they're not interested in that? Then what advice would you give to them?
I think, like, really look into what you are interested in. If you're interested in something and you know you are, don't worry about what anyone else thinks or says, because your parents might not agree with you, which in my case there was that in some cases where my dad was like, well, are you sure you want to do sports and fitness? Like, what are you gonna kind of do with that? And I was like, I don't know, but I think I enjoy it.
Instead of
And
the conventional route, be an
a conventional
accountant,
role, yeah,
be an
accountant,
engineer, be a doctor.
engineer, yeah, all of that. And I was like, I'm never going to be any of that.
Was it hard convincing them then? Or
No, it wasn't, because my parents didn't kind of force me or push me into anything else. At the same time, it was like, do I go into like Islamic studies maybe, because I'm not good on this side, but that's not a great mindset to have either, because then you're like, okay, I'm useless with this, so let me just go to the Islamic side, but you're not going to be good at that either maybe. Do you get it? So I had to find a way, and then I realized I do enjoy fitness a lot, and alhamdulillah, somehow Allah made a way for me through that, and here we are today, kind of thing.
I really love that, Shall I tell you why? Because just imagine, and if you gave it a thought where, if your parents were more, you can't do this, you can't study, the fitness, because exactly that, if they asked you the question, why do you want to study fitness? And then you'll say, I don't know. I don't even know if there's going to be a solid bulletproof career in it. A lot of parents would be like, okay, there's no chance you're doing that. You're going to go
100%.
and become an accountant.
Yeah.
Or and then imagine now all the things that you've done that would have not happened. And when you deep that, there would have been, alhamdulillah, I'm sure the journey that you've got now is totally not even random, it's totally different compared to the normal way.
100%.
So that's amazing. But yeah, so you did the fitness route. At that point, did you know that, okay, personal trainer I'm going to be now? Or what happened after college then?
No. So after college, I was 18 years old now. So I've done my level 2 in the first year college. Second year I finished BTEC sport, and I'm finishing off my second year. One of the guys that was actually working in the college gym, so it was Gateway College in Leicester, they have a gym. One of the guys that was working, and by the way, in first and second year college, I was literally, my lunch times would be spent in that gym, bro. Nothing else. I wouldn't be eating. There was a place called The Street where everyone used to chill, or the canteen. Bro, I'd spend my 2 hours just going to the gym, bicep curling, tricep, I don't know, whatever I was doing, was just trying to get into shape and get healthy. That's all I cared about, yeah? And being muscular, because I just wanted to make the most of my gym time, especially because it's a free gym. You don't get free gym, and that age you ain't got that much, you ain't got
You
income
don't have any
either.
money, yeah.
And we didn't have things like EMA and stuff. So we were just like trying to make the most of them gym sessions. And so I got friends with the guy that worked there, but he was also in my class in the second year at college. So he's like to me, look, I'm going to university when we were finishing off the 2018 year. He's like, I'm off to university. There's going to be a job vacancy coming up. I'll put your name forward. Sorry, this was 2016. No, it was 2018. I was 18 years old. And he said to me, yeah, I'll put your name forward. But because I was good with my BTEC sport, because I enjoyed it, and I actually did well with my studies there in BTEC sport. I got my distinction stars, which was like the equivalent of an A star, just say, or distinction, or like an A,
Mashallah, yeah.
which was good for me. I was like, oh, I've never done this before. Yeah, I enjoyed sport, and I did well with it. So alhamdulillah, it was good. The teachers really liked me as well. And so she put me forward as well, saying, "Listen, there's this guy. He should get a job here." So as soon as I finished college, I ended up staying at the college for a further 5 years, just working as a gym instructor. So that's kind of got me into the career pathway of being a gym instructor. And actually, even though it was probably like 4 to 10 hours a week, which was nothing, getting £10 an hour felt like a lot of money, bro.
Of course.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this is sick, man. I'll do that. So then I took a gap year, and in the gap year, I was working about 10 hours a week in the college gym.
Were you doing anything else at the same time?
And then I was working at Primark, yeah, and that was
Primark?
yeah.
Hey, which Primark?
Primark in town.
In town, yeah?
Yeah, in town. There was no Foss Park Primark at that point, I'm sure. Yeah, it wasn't.
So how was that then?
So I'd have shifts where it would balance out throughout the week.
Was it still like 40 hours doing that Primark?
No.
It was
not for. It was
like
all
a lot of
part-time
part-time
hours.
stuff, yeah.
But for someone that's 18, 19, 18, it was decent to.
So
kind of
normally
keep
a
me
lot
happy.
of people that are 18, 19, I think they're going into university,
Yeah.
right? And whilst you're making money,
Yes.
you know, when you think about that, so you're a gym instructor, you're getting money and you're working at Primark.
Yeah.
How was it like though, working at Primark, even though I'm sure it wasn't your passion, right?
No.
So how was it like doing something which is your passion probably, which is gym instructing, but then doing something which is not your passion? How did you like mentally keep yourself still going? Like, I still need to make some money doing something that I don't like.
I was just trying to earn some extra money on the side, to be honest, while I was on gap year. And to be honest, the people, like my supervisors and my all the staff there, they knew that this guy's into gym. Like, he's into something different. He comes in with in the canteen differently. He doesn't go out to eat with all of us. He'll bring his own food and all of that. And I used to microwave my own chicken and all of that,
So
bro.
you're focused.
Yeah, so I was like super focused, and I didn't get it at the time, but my supervisor's like, why don't you do personal training? I was like 18, 19. I was like, not yet. I don't think I'm ready for it, but maybe something I'd do in the future. But I just didn't have that confidence in me to like take that step. Do you get it?
Yeah.
There was no step forward. So I was like, I'm all right. I'm a gym instructor. I'm like almost there. Maybe in like 5 years' time, I'll do it.
Why was it just a gap year then? So
I just wanted to take a gap year.
So if it was a gap year, what were you taking the gap year from then?
Before I go to university,
Before you go to doing
Yeah.
what? Doing
I was doing sport. I ended up doing sport at university. as
Doing
well.
sports at
But I
university.
was not. I didn't have the intention of going to university.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to go that way, bro.
Yeah.
But then I was like, what else am I gonna do? Because I can't just work at Primark and work at Gateway College Gym.
course.
So I was like, I have to go to university, even if I don't do anything with it. So I did a sport development degree at the University of Northampton, alhamdulillah. And actually, from my siblings, I'll say I was the first one, and then my brother also went to
Okay,
university.
so fantastic. Yeah. So
So there was no real push
yeah.
from home to kind of go university either.
yeah.
Do you get it? So there was not like, you should go university, you need to do this, you need to do that. My parents work 7 days a week still.
Yeah.
They own a shop, and we come from like with a newsagent family. So
Yeah.
it's not like they've all got career paths. So
Educated
they
and
do it
stuff
all
like that.
themselves. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, it works, but it's a grind. It's 7 days a week. It's long hours, and I seen that, and I was like, I don't know anything else, and I don't want to do the conventional because I'm not good at that, and so this kind of opened up, and then alhamdulillah, I've managed to kind of do my own thing.
Yeah, it's so interesting though, and the reason why I got excited when you said you did go to university is because you were quite active in a sense of trying to keep going, keep moving, keep progressing.
Yeah.
And you weren't like, you know what, I'm doing this gap year and I could still stay doing, you know, the job at Primark and then the job at the instructing,
Yeah.
and keep that going when you know that you definitely still want to get educated and do a bit more.
Definitely.
And that's amazing because, yeah, at least you never regretted anything
No,
in that
100%.
sense. Yeah.
And you meet people and everything on the journey, and it all helps and it all builds you into who you end up becoming, like now and inshallah in years to come. But like now I'm 30. Now look back 10 years ago, I met so many people from different cities. I went University of Northampton, so it wasn't local, so I didn't have many friends with me at university. I made friends, so it made me like get to know more people, get out of my comfort zone, driving there and back and all of that kind of stuff. So confidence on driving alone. And it just made me who I am, bro. Like
So
it
you went
helped
all the
me.
way past Corby, Kettering,
Yeah,
all those areas.
all of
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and listening to like
That's one
all
of the
sorts
routes that I
talks.
take, so I know that place very well. Yeah,
It's a nice, beautiful drive, isn't it? In the summer.
Accreditation though, so having that with a university degree to your name,
Yeah.
does that help quite a bit in terms of being a bit more credible for
For
clients?
me, no, it doesn't. It doesn't come down to that for my clients. They don't really care about it, bro. As much as it looks good. Like I don't tell everyone I've been to university and all of that.
I
For
didn't
me,
know.
huh?
I didn't know. So.
Yeah, I don't really put it out there that I've got a sport degree because, again, when you tell someone you've got a sport degree, they don't really think of it like, oh wow, such a big degree. It's not. It's a sport degree.
But you know what?
It's still a degree.
I think the difference is though, yeah, and maybe it's a mindset thing, but if you think about it like this, right, you've got a sports degree, but you're in the physical space.
Yeah.
Think about that. That is different to someone that's a chemical engineer, right, like myself. But then if I'm not in that field, if you get what I mean,
Yeah.
because it's not one to one. It doesn't make sense. The people that interact with day to day for whatever job that I'm doing, if it's got nothing to do with the background, it doesn't really matter too much. But in your case, it's like I'm doing I've got that sports degree, but I am in the physical space.
Alhamdulillah, yeah, that's
You
why.
know, in that sense, it is very like relevant. I'd
It
say
is relevant.
So
I think that it is relevant.
Yeah,
So in the same time, it did help as well because it was a sport
Yeah.
development degree, and I'm developing fitness with the people I'm working with. So
But
I can't complain.
other things is like, and I definitely don't want to rush into it, right? But like one thing is like, especially when you speak to clients, right, and they come from an educational background or the conventional background, you could definitely have that sort of, you could compare it and you already understand how they were
Yeah.
because you've already done it yourself, especially been through lectures, been through the classrooms. So no, you definitely can still do both at the same time. I don't know. So
100%.
you know what I mean? You could definitely be in their footsteps,
Again,
isn't it?
bro, decisions with what foods we were eating when I was at university. Was I going to the canteen and eating anything? No, probably not. But if I was, what am I choosing? And all of these things, stems again back to health, fitness.
So I was going to say, is that another social media idea that you can start creating?
Yeah, it's a good one actually. You know what?
If you're at university,
You've given me loads, bro. Loads of gems, man.
No, amazing. I think you know what? Sometimes when there's another pair of eyes, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, of course.
Especially when you're in the project yourself, it's hard to see the other finer details.
Yeah.
But as someone else, it's so much easier for them to
Really,
see it.
It makes it easier. It's good.
But yeah, so you've gone through university, and at that point, you've done your few years there. Were you doing anything side jobs at the same time in terms of instructing
I
wise?
carried on as a gym instructor in the first year, and I was still working at Primark, I believe, or I might have moved to Sainsbury's then.
Okay, retail then, yeah? And
Yeah,
you kept
stayed
that
in
going?
retail. Yeah, I
Okay,
just got rid
amazing.
of Primark and moved to Sainsbury's. So I was still doing both. So weekends would just be working. Yeah, weekends was always down full days at work. So they'd always give me 4 hours, but I always used to do a full day. So it'd be 8 till 6 on a Saturday, or 8 till 7 on a Saturday, and then 8 till 5:30 on a Sunday. So that was my weekends were just focused on that. So if I'm not working, I'm not chilling and messing about or anything like that. I'm just concentrating on working and future, bro. Basically,
Yeah.
future proofing a bit, in the sense that I'm trying to build a bit of money and
course.
savings and all of that kind of stuff. Because I was quite worried about these things.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if I don't work now, like what's gonna happen to me like in 10 years? I was still worried because I was like, I ain't got much of a degree yet or anything like that. And so I used to work my weekends off as hard as I could, and then university throughout the week, and then in the evenings was the gym shifts. So I used to do it like that, alhamdulillah, and it worked well for me because I was able to study, do a bit of work, and to just live a balanced lifestyle with gym as well as a priority.
Yeah, well, one thing that I thought about, right, is when you said you had a job in retail. Funny thing is, especially me and my brother, we laugh about this quite a bit, but I could never get a job in retail. I've always worked within warehousing and factories during my university and education time. But any jobs where I'm actually interacting with customers, they would never, I would never get any interviews. I think that's why I do like men grooming products now to hopefully look a bit better, try to improve the appearance. But honestly, they would always send me in the back. You're gonna be shuffling, the bread, stacking, and doing all these kind of things. But no, like in the back, but nothing out, where you're in the shop itself doing the retail jobs. So I've never had that experience. I've always been like weirdly enough, when I used to do all those jobs, I was like, I always wanted to do a job where I was actually in a supermarket.
Yeah.
it's different, and people don't, people need to understand this. It's like the skills that you gain during, maybe the little jobs that you do during your weekends, part time. It's
Yeah,
so valuable because
so
your
valuable.
first time you're probably interacting with customers, not customers, colleagues, sorry, of different ages that you probably never were exposed to before. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and no offense to Primark or anyone that works there, but bro, it's not easy to work there because you get all sorts of customers, and sometimes it's rude. Like a lot of customers are rude. Whereas if you're working at somewhere like Flannels, you're gonna work with a different group of customers
Demographics
coming in.
different,
You
isn't
get
it?
it? So it's different. But alhamdulillah, I'm glad that I was able to do it at Primark, and also there was this thing in Primark where no one wanted to work on the customer service desk. Unfortunately, I was on that floor, so if they're short on customer service
Yeah,
and the other tills are not in use, we've got it all chipped to customer service. So I used to dread that, but alhamdulillah,
yeah,
like I did it and I was like, okay, it's not as bad. But everyone made it out like it was so bad because you'd get a customer ranting at you, telling you, oh, this is crap and this is bad quality or whatever it is. And so you'd be like having to deal with it all. But at the end of the day, bro, it's just a job and you had to do it. So just get on. I just
of
got on with
course.
it and did it, bro. But alhamdulillah,
Yeah,
it
no,
helped.
I really love that. I think so many times it happens all, where people would say it's very hard to do this, don't do it, don't do it. But it's like, let me try it myself and then I'll find out if
Yeah.
how it's going to be. Of course, if they experience, we do understand their point, but you do sometimes want to try it yourself and you find out, how it's really like. So I think in your sense, you found out customer service, it
It's
wasn't
not
too
that
bad.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't too bad. One thing that actually you mentioned was you've got this sort of mindset of I don't really want to chill too much. If I'm at university, I'm at university. If it's my free time, I'm gonna be working, or I'm gonna be in the gym, or I'm gonna make sure my food's right.
Yeah.
This sort of work ethic, where does that come from?
I I'd put it down to my parents, bro. It has to be because I've not really seen them chill. I've not seen them go anywhere. I've never been on a family holiday and all of that, and they've just worked their whole life, which is obviously not good as well. But I've just seen them grafting like all the time, hard work, hard work, hard work, just to like pay bills and pay this and pay debts, whatever. And so for me, I feel like because I've seen that growing up, it's really affected my like thinking towards making money or working and all of that kind of stuff. And so I'm just like making sure that I don't have to be like that, where I'm like constantly having to work so hard to chase, and not being able to enjoy any of it either, because they sacrificed a lot. We've not been on a single family holiday. Just say like my first holiday was with the boys at 18 years old, and it was with some of my friends. That was my first last holiday. It was a really good time, alhamdulillah. But never had that family kind of getaway where
Opportunity.
oh yeah, opportunity where you've experienced one family holiday. But alhamdulillah, like I'm not worried about it now. But it was at the time, you're like every year your family members would all go, like different family members, mum's side, dad's side. And you're like, when are we gonna be able to go to like Dubai or wherever it is? Because I've never been there. But now, alhamdulillah, I've done it all now. So it's not the end of the world, innit?
Yeah, and we have to be really grateful for our parents,
Yeah, it's true.
especially like when you just said that. It's like they worked so hard, like, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not like they didn't want to take you on
No,
holiday.
no, no,
They
exactly.
probably would have loved to take you guys on holiday, but then they're thinking, if we do, we'll be so much weeks behind on
Yeah.
paying our next
Yeah,
bills.
yeah, and you don't realize until
You
you're in
never
that
do. You
position.
never do.
Like, okay, we've got bills and stuff. Maybe this month we're a bit tight, but we don't even have to do it as badly. Like, we're still quite lucky and fortunate. These days it's easier to do things. Social media makes life so much easier. Like, the businesses have all changed and life's changed generally. So it is easier now to do things like make money, market yourself out there, market your products, whatever it is. Whereas for them, like, it was just in person kind of thing, and obviously
So,
different
how
decisions
was
in
their
life.
relationship like with money? Would you say your parents? Especially
Probably.
because, sorry, the reason why I asked is because they were working very long hours, but in terms of the reward, it was constantly
Yeah, it
it was
wasn't.
paycheck to a certain
Yeah,
degree,
yeah, yeah,
and not just them. Probably majority of the UK
yeah,
is similar in similar positions.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But how was it like being in a household with that environment?
It's not easy, bro. It's difficult because the stress is always financial. Financial stress is not easy as well to deal with, and I've seen like, parents go through it, or they've not spoke about it, or they've not said it. Obviously, we were kids, but just knowing that there's something not right, or learning as you get older that okay, there's debts that they need to pay, or there's mortgages that need to be fulfilled, and monthly is this much or this much interest, and it makes you kind of scared of these things as well. And so therefore, like I don't even want to into that route now. Growing up, like going into the mortgage route and stuff like that scares me as well because I'm like, I don't want to have to, deal with the implications that my parents had to deal with and have to work so hard. And not that I don't want to work hard, I do want to work hard, but I want the reward for it as well. I want to be able to go on holidays regularly. I want more freedom with my life. Whereas they were like kind of trapped into this kind of system where you become your own, like, it's like a box and you just fighting to get out of it all
You're
the
constantly
time.
trying to climb it, but then you go and
Yeah,
push it back to the bottom.
crabs in a bucket, right?
Exactly,
Yeah, it's like
exactly.
crabs in a bucket.
So if that's their relationship with money, do you think so? Then, of course, you want to work more harder, but do you think you want to work more smarter than in a sense,
100%,
like,
yes. It's more about learning how to work smarter as well for your money, how to make, money, but have free time as well, freedom as well with it. Because it's not always about
yeah?
making loads of money. It's more about freedom as well. Like having freedom to do whatever you want. If I want to go away, then I can go away. If I want to stay here, I can stay here. All of that kind of things.
Tell us about your brand. So you've got the brand. It's called Stay Active.
Yeah.
I want to know all about it.
Do you want to know how the name came about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So all it was I am called Akhi Omar. And everyone knows me as Akhi or Omar or whatever. But I used to always talk about staying active because I used to love doing steps, which I still do to this day. It's like talking 2017, 2016. I was always talking about being an active person, like walk, because I knew the benefits of just such a small things as walking will benefit you as a person. Because like when you look back to your ancestors, they used to eat and not eat crazy like we do, but they were very active in their day-to-day lifestyle. They used to go hunting, they used to walk. All their work was related to movement. Whereas now we're like sat on desks and sat on chairs and stuff like that. So we're completely opposite. So like encouraging this kind of healthy fitness vibe, I was like, be active. And I was like, oh, gee, that's the name, Stay Active. And it kind of started more so during COVID because we're kind of skipping a few years now. But between college and COVID, quite a few other things happened. Obviously, university we spoke about, and then the brand, a business with the partners, a friendship kind of thing.
At university, then, you're working the jobs. Were you doing anything else?
So during 2016, so second year university, just finished, I decided I wanted to go for Hajj. So Hajj 2016, I alhamdulillah completed it. But when I came back, I had an opportunity from a friend who said, like, let's join as a group and do personal training in Leicester. No one else is doing it, which no one else was doing, and alhamdulillah, I was really good at the time. But yeah, we did that. So I was university. Third year was at university, and I remember three of us, we started this personal training thing from his front room. He was already doing online coaching at that point, and alhamdulillah, I was very successful with it. And so we joined him, but we were doing the in-person side of things. And I remember, like, bro, it was so bad. My beard and my hair, everything was disheveled because I'd just come back from Hajj. So I had short hair. My beard was really big but messy. And my top, I can't really show you photos, but my top was like coming up to there. So it was really short.
Yeah.
It was too small for me, but like I didn't think of these things, and my joggers were baggy, my trainers were probably battered, but that's where we started in 2016 2017 time, and we were promoting ourselves out there as this Muslim, like, kind of personal training. We didn't say Muslim, but we're personal training, we're Muslims, and we were just offering personal training services within the community at a local gym, so SNS Fitness, and that was downstairs at the gym on Gwendolyn Road, and that's where it started, and we were doing it together. And alhamdulillah, was doing well to kind of get our name into it and starting it. So I wasn't taking it seriously because of university, and I was in my third final year, so obviously dissertation and all of that. And I was like, and I was also working two jobs. So I was like,
And doing this business.
actually no, I was working one job.
Okay.
But Gateway was giving me a lot of hours now.
Yes.
So I wasn't worried about Sainsbury's. I left after a Hajj because I didn't want to be dealing with alcohol, and I just hated it because of the area that it was in town. And you just get loads of drunk people and stuff like that. So I didn't want to be in that environment. And anyway, alhamdulillah, we got out of that. But Hajj, coming back and then starting this, I was like, oh, brilliant opportunity to do something different. So now I've got my Gateway College job still. And I wasn't bothered about one-to-one personal training if it doesn't come, because people don't know me yet. But they can see on this website that there's these personal trainers and they're doing this thing, or online on social media. And that's what we were really pushing to reach. But then one time I finally got my first client who inquired through our website. And he just by chance selected me. He didn't know who I was. He didn't mean to select me. He just saw three names, and let me just select the name that says Umar on it. So he selected Umar. And we had our first personal training session together. I still see him today, but not in person as in personal training, but he still remembers the day that he started. And alhamdulillah, he made some really good gains. And I just used to go there in the evenings after finishing university or gym and just go and train him.
What kind of business role did you take then regarding that business with your friends? So, like regarding marketing, sales, or
we were so new to business.
operations, yeah,
We like the brother that was the main head.
in coaching and stuff.
He was the the online coach who gave us this opportunity. Alhamdulillah, he kind of took role for everything. So he was like the leader of this business. At the end of the day, it was more his business. And so he was the most passionate about it, and we were like newbies, so we didn't have much idea about business, bro. And like, we didn't think with our own minds as well. So it was hard, bro. But we used to push our own pages, because at the end of the day, I'm pushing me to get clients in. Like, I want you to see who I am, so I'm doing videos. So we did marketing to some degree, video editing and stuff like that, and posting on our socials all the time. So I think we took a bit of a marketing role. Other than that, we can't really say we did much. Maybe a bit of making sure the finances was good and just tracking all of that. So that was my role anyway, because I was dealing with a lot of the money.
Because you're collecting it after the
collecting the money and then separating it, make sure that this
Exactly.
it all adds up at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And alhamdulillah, for me, it was like, I feel like it was a trust thing where the guy trusted me enough. So alhamdulillah, I was grateful for that.
It's true. Yeah.
And so I took the hisab and stuff. And then, so when I had my first client, it was still university. Done a few clients at that point, and then your like friends that kind of know of you, or know you, they decide to kind of, because you're cheap at this point, so they're like, let me support his business, because it'll help me on my goals. So alhamdulillah, I used to train a few clients a few days a week while at university. Then university finished, we carried on, but then I moved from SNS to another gym at Fitness Factory. And he was doing really well there. Now this is a mixed gym, music and stuff, whereas SNS was completely different. And so I enjoyed it in that kind of different environment, and it was more lively for me. And so I found that I started getting more clients, and then it got to a point where it was getting really busy, but numbers weren't adding up, because obviously we were sharing money and stuff like that. Yeah, so I was like, listen, it's not working. And then something else came up where I wasn't able to continue training clients at Fitness Factory.
Yeah, I'm sure in terms of the environment that you like, it's probably a different demographic compared to the normal people that you're used to, because you're in there for so long. You're probably so used to the same people coming. So you're probably like, I want a change of environment. I'm sure that made a big difference.
It made a big difference to me mentally. I was like, okay, I really enjoy it here. But then something came up where I wasn't able to train clients at Fitness Factory anymore. So I was like, I don't know how this is going to work. So then we discussed things, and we were like, well, you're going to have to come back to SNS. And I was like, well, I don't really think I want to do that. So kind of we're like, okay, we might have to part ways. And then something, I can't remember exactly how it happened, but we came to a point where we had to part ways as friends and businesses, as business partners, sorry. And so we kind of parted ways, and we all went off on our own journeys. So the online coach brother continued doing his thing and moved on to alhamdulillah loads of different ventures. And then another brother, he carried on doing personal training at SNS, and so did another brother. And then me, I stayed at Fitness Factory, and it really blew up for me there. And that's when my work ethic was like crazy, because I was doing the crazy morning sessions. So every day, 2018, 2019 now, doing 6 a.m. in the morning, finished university by this point, got my 2-1, happy with that, alhamdulillah. So then now I could concentrate on working and business and all of this kind of stuff, and it was all new to me, but social media was something I was enjoying and I was good at. And so I used to do a lot of social media posts saying, like, I got personal training, doing personal training. I used to post every single one of my clients on there, and people used to watch it and inquire, and post pictures of their...
What made you not get a job?
I just didn't want to go and get a job.
So you never thought after university, I want to work a job?
I didn't. I did, but I was like, I don't want to apply for this.
Yeah, because you already had something that was going.
Yeah.
And if you put 100% into it, you thought it's definitely going to be better, and it's something you're passionate about a bit more, isn't it?
Exactly. And I still had the gateway job, and I was like, listen, it's late hours, but I'm not committed to anything else. I'm chilling. I'm young still, 20, so it's fine. I'll do the gateway job.
Stability,
yes. Kind of, yeah, literally that. And then this will be my top ups, and then slowly it built up to a point where it was making good money for me, the personal training. But now I'm solo, yeah. But I was making content and stuff like that slowly. And then I moved from that gym. I didn't even say bye. I just decided to leave. So I decided to leave that gym 1 week and I moved to a completely different gym a bit further away from home. This was literally a 2 minute walk from my house. So it was convenient. Now I've moved to a gym which is about 10 minute drive. It's not far in Leicester, but
In terms
if
of
I
walking
walked
wise,
it,
it's
it would
not.
be 20 to 30 minutes.
It's not ideal, yeah.
And I was like, crap, I'm doing 6 o'clock in the morning. And even though I didn't have that many clients, because most of my clients were like, we're not moving now.
Of course, yeah.
We're staying at this gym. So I was like, crap, I've lost most of my clients. I'm going to have to build up again. And I hate this new gym. And I was training a lad who was 14 at the time. And the gym told me I'm not allowed to train him. So I was like, that's a massive loss. That's like £300-400 just there.
So what made you change?
A month. I wanted a change. I was sick and tired of the same routine.
So I see a pattern with you actually.
Yeah,
And it's quite interesting because hearing the story, and I'm sure, I don't know, it's weird because you're explaining the story, you might be picking up on it now.
Yeah.
It's like even though you might be comfortable
Yeah.
in that area, the money's coming in, even then you're like, I want to change, I want to do something else.
Yeah.
And it's a risk.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're quite okay with taking very risky decisions, would you say?
I think I am. Sometimes I don't think I can, but obviously I've done it. But that was probably one of the biggest risks because I lost all my clients. I literally had 1 or 2 clients coming, and luckily for me, they were doing like four PT sessions a week each, which was nothing, bro. It's like 8 hours to 12 hours. I remember writing like 12 hours a week. What the hell am I doing with my time? Yeah. But anyway, I PT'd them. And then slowly, I stayed at that gym. I was like, I hate this gym, even though, because again, it came to the fact that it was a bit further away from home. There's not many Muslims. There's other gyms that was dominated by Muslims, dominated by Asians. Was a mixture.
Different demographic, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like scary for me. These guys are all big, proper, serious gym goers. They're bodybuilders.
So what am I going to teach them?
I'm a tiny, they obviously
They're not
didn't
taking
take
you
me
seriously
at
though,
all.
no.
And I need to kind of put my name
Make your
into
mark,
this
yeah.
place somehow, yeah. But then I managed to build my own profile and show somehow, somewhere, it came to a point where I was pushing Islam and fitness, and it changed everything. And that's where I got more Muslim clients coming in, and doors did open in that gym. And they were so welcoming in the fact that they told me, it was Warehouse Gym in Leicester, they told me that there's a specific prayer room for me to pray in. The main owner of this place, not the gym owner, the landlord, he used to make like stupid deals in this specific room. So make sure you pray in that room. And for a non-Muslim to tell you that, you're like, yo, this is sick. And so you have flags all over the gym. We told him to bring a client, had a Somali client. We told him to get Somalia flag.
Yeah.
Got the Somalia flag. That was from me and my client. Then the Palestine we told him about, so he got a Palestine flag. So alhamdulillah.
So you looked after there, yeah?
Yeah, they looked after me. And actually they had the biggest part of my fitness journey and confidence came from that gym.
Really?
If it wasn't for that gym and I didn't make the decision to bounce there and not get off from there either, I don't think I would have been where I am right now.
Were you just a personal trainer there, or
Yeah.
what made you then transition into having a brand, or where did that come about, that journey?
At this point, so when I started doing my own thing at Fitness Factory, I then transitioned into something called Akhi Omar Personal Training. So my business was my name, which I didn't like because I was like wearing this T-shirt and it said Akhi Omar Personal Training on it, which at the time when I think about it, it looks cool. Then I thought it was cool, but now I feel it cringe because it said my name on it, and I used to give T-shirts to my clients and stuff, and they'd all wear it happily, bro, because they're like, yeah, rep you, whatever. But
it doesn't make sense, if you know what I mean, which I agree with you. Because like you'll see a lot of these brands, right, that it's their name who they are. But then like Tommy Hilfiger, who are these people to you then as a person?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I do get that, yeah.
So I didn't like my name being there, so alhamdulillah, we managed to find a way out. But when I was 2019, I was going for Umrah. Now, just before then, I was in a really like Islamic phase, alhamdulillah. I was praying and all of that. And I was like, I hate this gym thing because it's so loud. The music's so loud and there's women and it's all mixing. And I was like, how do I get out of this? But I don't think I can. So I went for Umrah in Ramadan, last 10 days. And the most spiritual high you'll ever feel in your life is going for Umrah, Ramadan, last 10 days, you're in Makkah and Medina, bro. You can't beat that. Four like major things. And then you're doing the big nights as well. So like 5 big things. And you come back and you're like depressed because you're such a spiritual high. Like Umrah blues really hit me badly that time. And I remember I was doing a course and stuff, and I was going to London, and I came back, and but my duas at the Umrah, I was like, I need to get out of this place. I don't want to be going back to the music, and I hated it because I even remember showing a picture of me losing like all this weight in Umrah. So now I've got to rebuild. So I was showing my client my journey of, I lost weight in Ramadan. I lost weight because I went for Umrah, but now I'm going to build it all back up, and I'm going to get strong again. But this was me before Ramadan. This is me now, but I'm not worried about losing weight and losing all this. I'm going to build it back up. And so I was showing my journey, but I really didn't like being there. So I was there from 2019, post Ramadan. I enjoyed the place. The guys were wicked, alhamdulillah, everything. It's just the music and the women and all of that mixing. But then obviously the feeling of the Umrah kind of wears off and you go back into normal routine. And so I forgot about all these things. But then I still had an element of like listening to talks and stuff like that. So it was always hitting me in the head that music isn't good. This isn't good, this isn't right. Quran and music can't be in the same heart, and you need to pray your salahs, all of that kind of stuff. And I wasn't married or anything, so I used to still take that thing seriously of looking after my health, looking after my body, putting the right things into my mindset as well, because like I didn't want to just be listening to music, bro, because this stuff affects me. And so I was like trying to find a way out. And then not fast forward to like the end of 2019, and what do we hear about? Coronavirus. And coronavirus came about, and January 2020 we're all discussing it in the gym, and the gym owner's like, yeah, it's going to be crazy. He was away on travels, and his plan was to actually go to the Middle East. So I was going to talk to him. He was non-Muslim, bro. And I even bought him literally when he came back, I bought him a toilet jug, because I used to use the disabled toilet, which is the gym toilet, because I was like, look, bro, guys, I can't stand up and go to the toilet. I have to use a jug, and I have to wash myself because I have to pray. And so I taught them, like, listen, this is what
So,
we use.
personal hygiene,
Yeah,
cleanliness,
so
and things like
they're
that.
like, okay, even if they've never used it.
Well, with
I
COVID, you
still
must
put
have
it
been
there.
scared, man,
So
thinking that
that's
gym's
what
going to
happened,
close.
bro. So gyms were gonna close, and we'd no idea, yeah. And I was still young at that point, like 5 years ago, so 25. I was still not serious enough. Like now it's completely different. It was to close, but then it was 25, and you're like, oh shit, what do I do? Yeah. So you are kind of worried. But then it happened, and it was like, okay, this is the last day, 29th of March or whatever it was, or 21st of March. Gyms are closing. Ramadan was 2 weeks away or 3 weeks away, so you're not worried, because I was like, okay, it's gonna get quiet now anyway, because 4 weeks now and it's Ramadan.
So you're expecting,
So kind of expecting a dip, but this was like complete shutdown. So luckily, COVID was okay in the sense that I was stressed because I didn't have work. But as soon as like that same day, the gym owner of Warehouse Gym put up a load of equipment that he's putting for sale. I pounced on one of the equipment. Like straight away, I was like, I'm gonna buy a barbell, even though it's 20 quid, bro. Barbells online are like
200
200
plus.
pound.
I know.
He was selling bent barbells, but I was like, I'll take it, bro. I don't care if it's bent. He said, I'll give you the best one. I messaged him straight away, bro. 1 minute later, he posted it. 1 minute later, I've messaged him saying, listen, I'm gonna buy your barbell. Sell it to me. I'll come and collect it straight away.
For the last couple of years, having this business grow to what it is now,
Yeah.
you've got clients now of different demographics, different ages, and it looks, you've got, I think, over 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Alhamdulillah, yeah.
How is it like, from the outside to us, to the public? It seems like you're doing fantastic. You're doing so well. How has your mental health been over the years of having this business?
So it's been up and down, bro. Some months can be really good, some months can be really bad. And in terms of mental health, and that's obviously projected through my own physical health, how I feel, how the business is doing itself. Sometimes business is not always going to be great. There's going to be months where you have more clients, and then suddenly 10 might drop out.
So how do you stay like firm in being okay with the clients going up and down, and you're constantly on that edge of, if I lose these clients now, it's going to really affect me to pay my rent.
Yeah.
So how's that like, man?
So to be honest,
And do you still have that? Yeah.
Yeah. At the start, it was really bad. Like I would be like worrying about that all the time. I still do worry about it to a certain extent, but at the same time, I'm just like, you know what, alhamdulillah, if I don't focus on it too much and I just kind of be grateful for what I have already, then inshallah I'll be able to overcome it. And that's changed. That's helped having that mindset shift of, do you know what, 1 month could be really good, make the most of it, and 1 month might not be good. Like summer might be really good. Enjoy it and make the most of it and have fun with your clients, and make sure that they get good results in that time. And when December comes and it's winter and stuff, and people might not want to train so hard, and people might not want to focus on their gym and health as much, then it is what it is. Take your break, concentrate on doing what you can control, like do your content more than other things that's going to push. So marketing, focus on maybe worship a bit more, because when you're busy and it's summer period,
It's a bit harder,
you don't
isn't
get
it?
time to always go to the masjid and pray and stuff. But when you've got time to do better actions, then go and do it. And alhamdulillah, I've always had that where I can do that, even though and that's the benefit of having your own thing, having your own business, is that you kind of control what you do in your time. So if I wanted to go to the masjid for Zohar, I can do that. And alhamdulillah, I think that's what's helped me carry on doing
Well,
this
a
as
lot
well.
of people that are working jobs, they want to be financially free.
Yeah.
They ideally want to be time free, which is what you're talking about. But do you think it's that fun and sunshine and rainbow on the other side of not having a job but having a business?
No, definitely not in the first 5 years at least. I would say I'd probably, if people that have done business way longer than me, but they'll tell you that it's not. It's never going to be that. You will build obviously to a point where you can kind of step away. But the first 5-7 years, I think you've got to put in a lot of work, a lot of effort. Daily, every single day. Sometimes it's 7 days a week. Sometimes it might not be 7 days a week. But majority of the time, it takes a lot of a toll on your relationship, a toll on your friendships, a toll on your family, because you're so into this building this thing. It's like a relationship in itself, bro. And so you got to differentiate between you being this work personal trainer, coach, not CEO, but like you own this business, and then you got to be a husband,
Responsibilities,
someone's
yeah.
child. All of these things, you're still all of these things. So you got to make sure that you still got to go and pray your namaz. You got to do all of these things. So you got to find a balance in that, and it's not easy to do, but you can do it. It's not that you can't do it, but you've got to put in a lot of work, and you've got to work a lot harder than you think.
One thing that we speak about a lot is, through the mumkin, right?
Yeah.
So mumkin in Arabic means possible. We've got mumkin, which is like the brand where we sell the beard products.
Yeah.
But we've got mumkin motivation, which is what we're doing here, which is the social impact. Getting people like yourselves to speak about things where, hopefully the viewers will be able to gain some knowledge and it'll better themselves in their lives. And we've got Mumkin Foundation where, percentage of the profits goes to charity, right? It seems all good, but these are things that are still in progress and, we're trying to push out and do better with. But one slogan that we've changed the business to, right, which is look better, perform better. So, of course, with the beard products, we want to make sure that, if your beard's in shape, it's looking good, it's going to mentally affect you and make you feel better.
Yeah.
You've got a brand, stay active. So how does that now relay across, where if how does mental health relate with fitness?
I'll tell you from my own experience, bro. When I'm not looking after my health and I don't feel good, or I feel like I'm out of shape, even in my clothes, or when I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I've not had a haircut, my beard's a bit messy, I'm not looking after my health and I feel a bit overweight, yeah, even to the outside person, it might not be as bad. But when I feel like that, I know it's impacting my relationship, my business, my clients, down to how sessions run, bro. There's no energy, and I have to bring energy to the sessions. And when I'm looking after my health, I feel good about myself. I've got the confidence. My beard looks good. I'm presenting myself well. It's attracting people. It's attracting the right clients. It makes them look up to you respectfully in a good way, not in a big-headed way. It generally just changes your whole aura about you. And so looking after your presentation, being healthy, looking after your grooming yourself, all of these things are such an important part in Islam, first of all. And secondly, as a man, we need to take responsibility of our bodies and our health and our looks, bro.
So one thing I want to say, right, is, and this can be very personal, right, but you've got many years of seeing clients of different sizes before they come see you, right? What is the typical mindset that a lot of people that are overweight have, that you've noticed that before they've come, and you're coaching them, what kind of mindset do they have in other aspects of their life and they're overweight themselves?
So they don't see what they can achieve, and so they don't push themselves in their work or in their careers. Most of them will be working jobs like normal jobs or working jobs before, but then when they
And in terms of jobs, you mean like jobs where they could still do even better
even
if it's still a
which,
job.
alhamdulillah,
Yeah.
I've seen like clients have pushed themselves further after seeing that, because they're now a different person. They've changed their whole mindset about themselves, and that's portrayed then into their life and their jobs, because now they're pushing themselves further in their careers, which is alhamdulillah, it's a blessing, bro. So it's a win-win situation in that, because you feel better. I'm telling you now, you'll push for more. Like me, if I don't feel good in my personal business, I'm not going to push my business as much. But when I'm feeling good and I know I'm confident and I know like people are looking at me because my muscles might look better or whatever, I've got lower body fat, then it makes me push my business further because I feel in control of my business again. And the same for careers. People with careers, when they look after themselves and stuff like that, they'll know that like, I don't want to settle for this. I want to go a bit more. I want to push myself harder. And I have this conversation with some of my clients, where they'll tell me like, oh, I've got, this is my role. I'm like, oh, alhamdulillah, that's good. Now, what's the next role? Why you should become like you want to push towards the manager role. You want to push towards senior manager role. You want to push towards these roles because you're good at what you do and you're passionate about it. So push towards being better. You get it? It's not just about settling. And Islamically, it won't be to just settle. It's always push yourself, excel further. Try hard. Everything's possible, bro.
Yeah, and the terminology would be in Islam it's like ihsan, right, which is to do things with excellence.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it was one of the last few guests that we had. He that's one thing that he was really emphasizing on,
Yeah.
and
I love that, bro.
and honestly, he's doing amazing. But he's saying anything that you do it with ihsan. If you're playing pool, do it with ihsan. If you're going to the gym, doing it with ihsan.
True.
If you're working a job, do it with ihsan. If you're going to start a business, do it with ihsan. Strive for excellence.
It's true.
Yeah, and then tie your camel and then leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're never going to say that we're always going to be successful. We're always going to achieve. But if you've tried your best, you've done it with ihsan, then
100%.
at least you put the effort in. And I think that's the main thing.
I love that, bro. So coming back to my personal training journey, when I went to a gym to do a course, it was a white gym, it was owned by white people. And I was like, these guys are so professional. And they gave us a T-shirt and it said their gym logo, which was M10.
Yeah.
So it was a center of performance excellence for personal training. And I just went there for 2 days to do like a course. And on the back, it said strive for excellence. And that stuck with me, bro. And at the time, I had a client who was a dentist. And obviously, bro, alhamdulillah, he's successful in his career, his dentistry. And he used to say to me, I used to say to him, like, oh, look, it says strive for excellence. And he's like, yeah, ihsan. And then, bro, it just makes so much sense that Islamically we are to strive for excellence, bro.
Of course.
Honestly, like,
yeah.
And there's nowhere, like, Islam pushes you to do well. And we've got so many things that we get told not to do, and only as we get older do we realize why we're not allowed to drink alcohol. Why should we stay away from drugs? Why should we not go do this and that or go to the club? Why are these things stop us? Why are we stopped from all of these things? Why are we not doing gambling? Do you get it? Because it wants us to be successful in this world, bro, as well as the next.
Exactly. What I've noticed is following Islam is like the perfect recipe for success.
For success. And not even just in the hereafter, in this world, bro.
Exactly.
You'll get all the success here.
They say one
if
thing
you
with,
do things properly.
They say one thing with Khabib is like, Joe Rogan, they say a lot, right? Train a lot, train a lot, train a lot.
That's it.
And it's so interesting that you think about it, right? And of course, you might not be the biggest MMA fighter, UFC fighter, right? But you might be in this job, in this business, and you're not number one, but you strive to be, the best in that job, in that industry, in that field. By what? By how? By doing it with effort, by doing it with sincerity, and again, making sure you're praying at the same time. 100%. And it comes hand in hand, doesn't it? But I want to know, so then, especially, I want to still go on that point, right, which is, the people that are very, very out of shape, why would you say that they would, let themselves go to that level or that state?
Kind of, it comes down to like factors from childhood as well. Could be childhood trauma or anything. And sometimes it's just self-neglect, or, an avenue to kind of deal with stress, deal with anxiety, deal with problems in life. Whether it's relationship, work, business, anything, and they kind of find food as an avenue. So a lot of times in like our communities, and obviously our food as well generally isn't great, but within our community, like we have everything's surrounded around food. Like we don't obviously party, drugs, alcohol, none of that. So even Eid, it's always based around food. And so food's such a big thing for our community. So I feel like we kind of trap ourselves into this thing where we just love food, and it becomes an addiction in itself. And so therefore people like kind of find pleasure through food, and we need to like get away from that and stop seeing like exercise as a form of punishment,
Yeah.
and start seeing exercise as a form of looking after yourself and caring for your health and caring for you, and seeing food as in a whole different term. And once you kind of switch that mindset around a bit, you will see, first of all, you start seeing results, then you'll start feeling good about yourself, and then like you'll portray it towards other people, and then it becomes like an magnet where people will see you and be like, oh, I want to become like that, I want to be healthier. You get it? So that's what you want at the end of the
Okay.
day, bro.
You know what? Let's play a little game, yeah? I'm going to ask you, we'll do some case study examples, right, of people of different, in different relationships that they've got,
Yeah.
or different life settings that they're in. And I want you to just give quick answers to it, right? By quick answers, I mean a good 30 to 60-second answer
Okay.
for that problem, okay?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking off the bat now. The first person, he's married. He's you know, he before he trained, before he was married, he was proper trying to get in shape to get married. Now he's across that line, and now he's letting himself go. What would you say are the steps that he needs to take to get himself back on track to get in shape?
So firstly, he needs to look at himself in the mirror and just understand that he's not moving in the right direction. He needs to come back to where he used to be, inshallah. And it's important now that you're married doesn't mean you stop reaching your goals. You should actually push yourself harder, bro. You've got a wife now. You want to look better for her. You did it all this time maybe for yourself, or maybe to attract someone or attract a woman. You've got her. Doesn't mean you stop looking after yourself. The more you look after yourself, the more you're able to look after everything else around you. And that's one thing I always remember, because I've seen people that really look after themselves and care about themselves, being successful in business, being successful in their relationships, in their children looking up to them, and all of that kind of stuff. And so therefore I think it's important that you kind of take yourself away and see yourself and change that for yourself. But you should take small steps towards it as well. Just, changing your food slightly, your habits. If you've built bad habits, try to change them into better habits. Like, instead of just driving everywhere, start understanding that walking is going to be important for you to be healthy. Join a gym, or find a personal trainer or something that's going to push you and motivate you, or be surrounded by this kind of stuff in an environment where it's healthy, it's halal, and you're able to commit to it. And it doesn't have to be 5 times a week, 6 times a week. Maybe you used to train like that before, but maybe you can do 2 to 3 days a week. It doesn't have to take all of your time. 1 to 2 hours a week isn't going to take so much time, but you have to put effort outside of the gym as well, through steps and better nutrition, to then obviously look after yourself and be better.
Perfect. So that's for a married person.
Yeah.
What if the person is, he's got his own family now, so he's married, but he's also got 1 or 2, 3 kids. He's already struggling with his time. He's out of shape, and then you say that you need to be in shape. But he's in his head, he's thinking, how could I possibly do that when I'm already struggling with my time? So what advice would you give to that person?
So first of all, bro, you don't need to go to the gym just say to get in shape. Yeah, find a way that you and your partner could maybe train together from home. You could easily do something at home. You could do a home workout twice a week, 3 times a week. But, encouraging activities like weekly or weekends where you go on hikes with your partner and your kids, or you and your partner take turns in like taking the children out for walks, or find a salah that you can go to walking that doesn't interrupt obviously your day too much, because you're so busy, so you don't want to obviously make it worse. But you can find a salah that you can quickly walk to and walk back 10-15 minutes here and back. At least that way you're getting some activity in. And then just between you and your partner, encouraging to make better decisions, keeping high calorie snacks away, eating healthier foods, and bringing in like high protein foods, for instance, and stuff like that, where you're making it together as a family, showing your children what they should be putting into their body as well, but really taking care of what you're putting into your body, avoiding stuff like takeaways. I know it's easy to just click off your phone now and just tap and buy whatever you want and it'll come to your door, but why don't you go out to the shop, buy your stuff, walk to the shop, buy your stuff, come home and make it together. It'll give you that bonding time with your partner, and it'll just be good overall for a good healthy environment.
I really like that, because especially if you've got family, you've got some kids, one thing that you will never ever, make sure that you don't prioritize is actually, spending that family time. So you actually said you're going to have that family time, but why don't you couple that with some healthy activities? And that was actually a really good gem that I didn't even think about at all. So that was fantastic. now, so that's some. Actually, I'll give you one last fitness one, right? A quick answer to this then. There's a young person. He could be overweight, underweight, whatever the case is. He's right now. Nowadays, everything's on social medias. Nowadays, 16-year-olds are in massive shape. So it's like, what do we actually, what are we comparing ourselves to? But he wants to start going to the gym. It could be 16, but it could be 18, 20. Doesn't matter. What advice would you give to that person who's never been to the gym, and he's scared to go?
I was in the same position. So don't be scared to just like find a gym that you know is local to your house, if you can, or kind of sign up to these kind of classes where they're doing like a kids class. Alhamdulillah, we're doing like a kids summer camp, and that's what we really pushed right now. And then we're just trying to encourage kids to come into an environment, because again, gym can be seen as a scary place, which it is, because there's like all these big guys, and it can be quite you can feel anxious.
Intimidating, yeah.
Yeah, it's intimidating. And so therefore we've created this thing where we're coaching you guys and teaching you the basics of training, and we're making it fun, and also putting an element of Islam into it. And so therefore, alhamdulillah, we're lucky that the kids that come to us, they're kind of in a good position to start off their gym fitness journey. Whereas when I started, I was scared to go to this gym, and it was like in a dark alleyway and all of this kind of stuff, and you'd go through the alleyway and get into the gym. But then once you're in there, people are not gonna eat you. Everyone's friendly, and then you just slowly learn and pick it up. But there's so much out there nowadays. There's so much on YouTube. There's so much on Instagram. Learn few things. Don't take everything. Try to find credible sources, and inshallah, you know what? In like 5 years time, if you just stay consistent, you will get there. But it takes time. So take time, learn, and just keep growing.
Perfect. You've given some very good fitness related answers, or like topics that we've just covered right now. Real life examples. You've actually, yes, you stay active, right? And that's the brand, right? And you've come up on social media as Akhi Omar, and that's you, the fitness side of you. However, no matter what, regardless, you've come from a background that's not really fitness oriented, in terms of like the family or anything like that, in terms of like career wise. So you're like the first one to actually build a career out of this. It's away from the conventional path. So this is real life examples now. If there's someone that says, I'm scared to start this business, I've got an idea, but I've got so many people within my own circle saying no to me. That could be parents, that could be my friends. How do I still start this?
You know what? You have to. First of all, I've not done it myself, but I would try and do istikhara on it. Like I've only recently like kind of taken that a bit more seriously. I've not really done it much, but that's one thing I wish I did earlier. But at the same time, kind of put your trust in Allah. You might be young, but kind of understand that if it doesn't work, what's the worst that can happen? You'll probably learn from it. So at the end of the day, bro, there's a win-win situation in it anyway. Sometimes it won't work, and and to be honest, if it doesn't work, it'll probably build you up into something even better. So take the risk, don't worry about it, and you've got enough time to fail you've got enough time to fail most of your life. So fail from it, but learn from it as well at the same time, so that when you do the next one, you could do it better, or whatever business ventures you want to do, inshallah, you'll keep improving over time. Like, it's not going to all happen at once. Sometimes you'll fail, but you can't let the failure stop you from trying again. You get it? Just go for it, inshallah, and put your trust in Allah, man.
Perfect. You know what? I think we've covered a good amount of case study examples, right? One thing I want to talk about is one of the biggest issues that we have, or the people that stop us the most, is ourselves. We're always in a box, and in our own mental box, and constantly we keep saying to ourselves that I've got this idea, but I can't do it. I'm stopping myself. There's self-doubt.
100%.
What's your experience like with that?
So it's happened to me loads of times on so many different occasions of just things in the gym, like projects that I might want to work on. Some things I'll find easy to do. Some things I find really difficult, like even just trying to push this like whole kids summer camp. It took me forever to try and do it. I've been trying to do it for the last 5 years, and last year kind of started it slowly.
What made you not do it? Yeah,
I just feel like I wasn't comfortable in teaching kids, maybe, or taking too much on, which like would I deal with it? But alhamdulillah, do you know what? Now that I've done it, I really enjoy it, and I was just like, do you know what? It's actually fun. I'm more passionate about it with the kids, because they're coming and they're ready to do something, and they want to be feeling good about themselves, and they want to do something in the summer, and we want to encourage that to them, because now we're in a society where like health is coming, alhamdulillah, it's coming up, but at the same time food and all these things are thrown at you, and there's so many addictions and stuff, so we've got to be very careful with how kids do things, and we want to portray good addictions, the addictions that alhamdulillah we were blessed to see as well, in the sense that having a gym addiction is beneficial for you, bro. Obviously too much of anything is not great, but at the same time, if you're better off being in a gym environment where it's healthy and clean than being out on the street doing something else.
Or sitting watching TV.
Or sitting watching TV, exactly, bro.
Yeah.
Or, ordering food online all the time. It's all these things, they're not good for us, and they're not good for our health, and they're not good for longevity. So we want to push them away from all of that stuff, inshallah.
Amazing.
But yeah, I'd say, sorry, question.
No, you answered it perfect. Honest, that's perfect. There's so many clients that you've worked with, different ages, things like that. What's one example that you can give that has stood out to you the most?
I've got a couple of elderly clients, alhamdulillah, and their life, you think you're going through something, and like sometimes you might be going through any issues, family issues, whatever it could be, or even financial stress, and you'll talk to these guys who you look up to because they're super successful, and you're like, yeah, this guy's made it, he's 50 something years old, alhamdulillah, he doesn't work anymore, he's retired early, he's made all his money, he's got houses, everything, and then you'll speak to him, or he'll notice that you're like off edge, and he'll explain to you his experience in life, and then you're like, oh crap, he's lived literally the life I'm living right now, but look where he is today. Like he's still so grateful about it. And one of the things is that these guys, alhamdulillah, they're like so grounded to faith. They're like, wherever it is, we're so grateful. Whether we came from the slums in India and now we've built this thing which we never thought we would have, and sold our business for this much, but like today, alhamdulillah, we're successful, but we don't forget where we started. We lost our parents early, all of these things, but they still managed to find something and be happy about life, and make something out of themselves still. And it's, alhamdulillah, that's something that's taught me as well. So having them kind of role models as well around me, and having these kind of clients who are super successful, and alhamdulillah, it's such a blessing that we get to work with these guys, because they give us their experience on life and what they've been through, and it makes a difference to you, man.
Amazing. I'm really happy to hear that. This is the executive. So this is the complete beard care kit.
Yeah.
In this kit, we've got the beard conditioner, we've got the beard shampoo, we've got the beard oil, beard balm, and beard brush. I really want you to, from first looks, what do you think of the kit?
Oh, I love it. I genuinely, it looks beautiful. I love the packaging. I love the detail that you've put into it. You've put a lot of effort and thought into this, bro. So I look forward to seeing what's inside now.
No, of course. And, the reason why, especially, like, I'm, showing you on this podcast is because we've got, the brother here, Akhi Omar. He's really big on making sure that we look good physically. We're in shape, and he's got the Stay Active brand. He's got his own studio that's in Leicester. And a lot of that is to really improve not just the way you look, but also your mental health and the way you feel and the way you achieve in everything else in your life, which could be that job, which could be that business, but it could also be the personal relationships that you're in. And again, I'm totally with you in that, which is I want people to look good, but I want them to perform better in other aspects of their life, which is why we've got a very good kit. So if they've got a very long day, and we just talked about that, where they're juggling so many different things in their life, they're so busy, I want them to really just have that first 5 to 10 minutes in their life where they can really look after themselves, where they feel appreciated, if you know what I mean. So they're having that self-care and they're doing it. It's only going to take 5 minutes, but the fact that they're going to be willing to give themselves that 5 minutes to look after themselves, it's going to hopefully pay dividends for their entire day. Sure. But yeah, so right, that was a lot of waffle, but I want you to take the kit, you just open it up and then just give us your thoughts, man.
Oh, bro, I love it. MashaAllah. This is lovely, man. So what these are the shower beard conditioner, beard shampoo, and then you've got the beard oil.
Yep. And the beard balm and the beard brush.
Lovely, man. Should I give it a brush before?
Yeah. So of course, so right now, if you're able to even use the beard oil,
let me try some.
Open up, add some on your hands,
if
you can. Yeah, get as much as you can in. Yeah.
It smells lovely, bro.
Yeah. It's aqua scent, so it's quite fresh.
Yeah, I can tell. You know what? I prefer that because sometimes they put like oody smells and stuff.
You can get a headache.
Really strong, yeah. Yeah, this smells refreshing. Sorry if I'm doing a bit wrong, bro.
No, that's perfect. Honestly, you're going through your beard hair, but also the skin
It's really
underneath
silky,
it.
innit?
Exactly, yeah.
It's really smooth. I've never felt. I'm not even just exaggerating
Yeah,
it
yeah.
to you, bro. Genuinely. Should I have put some of the balm as well?
Yeah, yeah, please. And smell the bomb too. I think you'd really like it.
Let me smell the balm. Sorry, I got sticky hands now.
Proper squeeze
Really
into
nice,
it, yeah.
bro. I don't take a bit. It's very silky, bro. Mashallah.
Exactly, yeah.
It feels really smooth. There you go, bro. It's
And
really
use the
smooth.
brush now, yeah.
I use the brush.
By the way, this is a vegan brush, so it's weird
Okay.
to say it's halal. A lot of the brushes are made from wild pig, basically.
Okay, yeah,
the
yeah.
bristles. This one here, it's all plant. It's all from sea cell bristles. So essentially, it's all organic. It's from plant, so that's good.
Yeah. How's it looking?
It's very good, man. Fantastic.
Bro, genuinely, I'm not just saying it because you're here. It feels really smooth.
No, amazing,
It's not
amazing.
usually what happens when I put beard product in. It goes a bit hard.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if that's normal.
No,
But this feels
we want it to feel soft, nourished, healthy. That's what we
That's
care
why it
about.
genuinely feels nourished, soft, and healthy, bro.
Exactly.
Like smooth and silky as well.
Okay.
Which
Listen,
I'm surprised
so
at.
I'll pay you £50 afterwards. Yeah, after that.
I thought you were gonna give it me first. Nah, Jazakallah, bro. This is lovely.
No,
I
amazing,
like
amazing.
it. I really like it.
So yeah, so this is the beard products. I'm really happy that you do like it. Again, a lot of the products you can get it on mumkin.store.
Yep.
We don't just have that. We've got like a beard growth kit for people that are just beginning and just starting a beard journey. We've got the Ottoman beard grooming kit, which is the one in the the orange box here. This one here is just for the standard maintenance of every day. If you're out and about and you just want to make sure that you're looking after your beard, you're able to do that with the beard oil, beard balm, and the beard comb. So besides these products,
Yeah.
before we end the podcast, one thing that I want to leave with is, what's one thing that you can leave the viewers with that would motivate them and inspire them?
If there's anything you want to do in life, then don't dwell on it. Just focus on doing it because it's your choice and your journey. So go for it, inshallah. And definitely look after your health because that pays dividends in the future.
Amazing, amazing. Is there anything else that you want to add? Are you happy? Yeah. Where can they find you though?
On social media, it's at Akhi Omar or at Stay Active. That's usually on Instagram. I'm mainly on Instagram or LinkedIn.
Perfect. You've also got a studio that's in Leicester, and you offer what services?
Personal training, one-to-one personal training, so private coaching in our Stay Active facilities, a fully kitted out gym. We also offer group coaching and group high intensity sessions.
Of course, and a lot of the people, you might not be from Leicester, you're in Manchester, you might be in Blackburn, you might be in London, you might be all over the country, and you're thinking, I still want to stay fit, I want to stay active, but I might not be able, of course I can't travel to Leicester, so what's the solution for me? So again, send them a message. I'm sure there's online coaching, they're able to provide you with all these services, so
Inshallah.
definitely check these guys out. So yeah, this was the Mumkin Motivation Podcast, episode 11. This was a podcast that definitely I'm happy if you guys stayed because there were so many gems. A lot of the things which is like your mental health, your men's health, we want to improve on that physically through the training. It could be beard grooming products, using these products. But at the same time, hearing your story, a lot of the challenges that you had, it was really good and it was amazing. So thank you for your time for coming on. Really appreciate it, man. That's it. If you want to check us out, mumkin.official on Instagram and TikTok. So hopefully a lot of these, little snippets, we should be able to show you that on our social medias.